Hi everyone, how are you all? I hope you are all good and safe. Have you enjoyed your first term holidays? Very good. Have you all eaten your breakfast? You have eaten, right? Okay. Today we are going to learn modal verbs. Already you know verbs. What is verb? Say some examples for that. For example, read, write, sit, stand. These are verbs. And today we are going to learn modal verbs. It has many types, but today we are going to learn 5 types. 5 modal verbs. These are can, could, may, might, should. First, we are going to learn can. And we use can for ability or inability. For example, I can speak in English. It's my ability. Okay? For example, he can walk on the road. It is called ability. In this time, we use can. And the next one is informal permission. The next one is informal permission. For example, can I open the door? It is an informal permission. In this time we use can. Can I open the door? Can I open the window? Like that. And the third one is informal request. For example, can I have a glass of water? It is an informal request. In this time we use can form. For example, can I have a glass of water? And the fourth one is possibility. When the thing is possibility, at the time we use can. For example, anyone can become rich and famous. It is a possible thing, right? Everyone can become rich and famous. It is a possible thing. So that we use can here. What is the first one? Where we use can form? Ability or inability. For example, I can speak in English. He can walk on the road. She can dance at the party. Like that. And the second thing is informal permission. For example, can I open the door? Can I open the window? Like that. And the third one is informal request. Can I have a glass of water? It is an example for that. And the fourth one is possibility. Anyone, for example, anyone can become rich and famous. In these 4 rules we use for can form. What is the first one? Ability. The second one is informal permission. And the third one is informal request, and the fourth one is possibility. Okay, it's a can verb. It is a modal verb 1. And the next one is could. C-O-U-L-D, could. It is a past form of can. And the first one, asking for permission. When we have to ask permission, at the time we use could form. Can I borrow your pen? For example, can I borrow your pen? Another one example, can you say? The next modal verb is could. C-O-U-L-D, could. It is a past form of can. And the first rule is asking for permission. When we have to ask permission, at the time we use could. For example, could I borrow your pen? Could I borrow your book? Like that. When we have to ask permission, at the time we use could form. And the next one is polite request. Polite. Here we use for polite request. For example, could you say it again? It is a polite request, right? We have to use could form here. Could you say it again? And the third one is ability in the past. Already I told you, no? Could is a past form of can. Ability in the past. For example, she could read when she was 4. For example, she could read when she was 4. It is a past form. And the third one is suggestion. Suggestion. For example, we could try it, fix it ourselves. It is our suggestion. And the last one is the same thing, possibility. For example, I think we could have another Gulf War. For example, I think we could have another Gulf War. Could you understand yours? Could form. The first one is we use could form for asking permission, polite request, ability in the past, suggestion and possibility. And the third one is may. It is also possibility and then polite permission or request. Already you know that. For example, may come in ma'am, may go outside. These are permissions, right? And then possibility. For example, he may run the marathon this year. It is a possibility, right? In the time we use may form. He may run the marathon this year. And the second one is polite permission. It is may come in, may go outside ma'am, like that you can ask. It is a polite permission. And then request. May go now. It is also request. What is that? The first one is possibility and the second one is polite permission or request. Here we use may. And the fourth one is might. And the fourth one is might. It is also possibility or to make suggestion or request. The first one is possibility and then suggestion or request. And this is less common in American English. We are not using might often. For example, be careful, you might fail. Be careful, you might fail. And the last one is should. This is personal obligation or moral obligation. And the next one is recommendation. The first one is personal obligation. For example, I should call my mother more often. It is our personal obligation, right? So we use should here. I should call my mother more often. The next example is recommendation. Recommendation. You should apply for a job. It is a recommendation, right? You should apply for a job at my company. So we use should here. It is a recommendation. So we use should. For example, you should apply for a job at my company. Should. The first one is personal obligation and the next one is a recommendation. In this time we use should form. Okay, what are the modal verbs we learned now? The first one is can, could, may, might, should. C-A-N, can. C-O-U-L-D, could. M-A-Y, may. M-I-G-H-T, might. And last, should. S-H-O-U-L-D, should. These are the modal verbs we learned now. And the first one is can. We use can for ability, informal permission, informal request, and possibility. And the first one, ability. For example, I can speak in English. And the next one is informal permission. For example, can I open the door? And the third one is informal request. For example, can I have a glass of water? And the fourth one is possibility. For example, anyone can become rich and famous. It is a possible thing, right? So that we use can here. Anyone can become rich and famous. And the second verb is could. It is a past form of can. First one is asking for permission. We use could for asking permission. For example, could I borrow your pen? For example, could I borrow your pen? And the second one is polite in request. For example, could you say it again? It is a polite request. Could you say it again? And the third one is ability in the past. For example, she could read when she was 4. She could read when she was 4. It is a ability in the past. So we use could here. And the fourth one is suggestion. For suggestion also we use could. For example, we could try to fix it ourselves. It is a suggestion. We could try to fix it ourselves. And the fifth one is possibility. For example, I think we could have another Gulf War. Okay. And the third verb is may. We use may for possibility, polite permission or request. And the possibility is, for example, he may run the marathon this year. This is the possibility, so that we use may here. For example, he may run the marathon this year. And the second one is polite permission or request. For example, may I go now? May I come in? These are permission or request. So we use may. And the fourth one is might. And might is commonly used for possibility, suggestion or request. But we are not using might often. This is less common in American English. For example, be careful, you might fail. Might is most commonly used for possibility, suggestion or request. And the last one is should. It is used to express personal obligation, moral obligation, a recommendation. The first one is personal obligation. For example, I should call my mother more often. It is a personal obligation, so that we use should. I should call my mother more often. And the next one is a recommendation. For example, you should apply for a job at my company. It is a recommendation, so we use should here. You should apply for a job at my company. Okay dears, could you understand these verbs? Could you understand these modal verbs? What are the modal verbs we learnt? Can, could, may, might, should. What are they? Can, could, may, might, should. These are the modal words we learnt now. Okay? And you have to write some examples for can, could, may, might and should. Have to write two examples. This is your homework. Do it. And be safe, my dears. Don't go outside. Do your work correctly. Bye bye and take care.